Well, it's half time in the pre-season friendly that is Leicester against Blackburn. It's 0-0, and to say it's not really a full team, first team strength Leicester is a bit of an understatement, but it's very interesting to get your half-time views. That's what we want to know, is what do you think to the match so far? Let me know what your views are and your comments are. It'd be great to get them in there. Who do you think's having a good game? And who do you think's not having such a good game? Please let me know what you think. I'm going to say, I think, excuse me, I'm choking on some popcorn. I haven't got anything nastier, but I am definitely choking on some popcorn. Let me know who you think is playing well. I think Dewsbury Hall's had quite a good start to the game, quite lively. Jamie from the Fox is saying there's 15 players out with call-up and injuries, which would explain it. Peter Hill, I'm trying to big it up a little bit more than that. It's quite interesting. We had a decent chance right in the first 35 seconds. Didn't quite fall right for Harvey Barnes, couldn't quite work it. Jack says, I think some of our under-23s are bang average. Do you agree with Jack or not? Let me know your views. Carlos says, good evening. Good evening. Where are you watching from, Carlos? If it's good evening, do let me know. Lee is saying, Ndidi is having a great game as a centre-back. Tom, we were having a little chat during the first half, and Tom, who hosts the Fox's Tales show, put in, this is all a bit of a nonsense with the internationals right before the season start. I know it's a very strange, obviously, time at the moment, but it almost seems a bit pointless, today's game, with Leicester having so many players out there. Luke's saying Josh Knight looks good. Yeah, I think he's looked decent. And like I say, I think Dewsbury Hall, I've been really pleased with what I've seen from him. I would love to see a bit of Hurst on in the second half and a bit of Nacho. Not been wowed by Demarai Gray. I don't like to be too critical, but he is one of the first team sort of players. What do you think to Demarai Gray? I don't want to turn this into a Demarai Gray bashing, but he did a lovely crossfield pass at one point. Josh says Hamza's playing well. Yeah, he is. He's all over the pitch, isn't he? He's putting in some big tackles. Mark says, what's the half-time score? It's yawn, nil, yawn, nil. Sorry, Mark, it hasn't been exceptionally exciting. Phil says, Gray, Barnes, Hamza not good enough at this level. I'm going to disagree slightly with you, Phil. I think Hamza Chowdhury is good enough. I think Harvey Barnes is good enough, but needs more of an end product. Demarai Gray, I just think Locke says Gray being Gray, his name suits him. Clive saying Barnes and Gray ineffective. I want to see a lot more from these players, not just today, but in this season. And I do feel with both those, they need better end product at times and better decision making at times with Barnes and Gray. And, you know, we're playing a championship side who themselves have got a few players out because of the internationals. Vardy's been very quiet, says Hazan, watching on YouTube. Barnes set the tone in the first minute. Another great chance missed by him. He sort of got muscled off it a little bit, but he's a big lad, is Harvey Barnes, so maybe he should have done a bit better. Kieran Dewsbury Hall doing well, half decent. Other than that, not much happening at all. Nothing going forward again. Liam says, great to Spurs take the money. Luke's saying he'd like to see Les Bahala in second half. I'd like to see a bit of Nacho and a bit of Hurst. I'd also get Jakubovic on in goal. I don't really understand why we're not playing the third choice keeper rather than one of the young lads, although is it a good experience? Neil Bennett says he's worried. Like Jamie said, Neil, there's 15 players missing from that team today, and perhaps even more, because I don't know if Jamie, you can tell me if you're watching, does that 15 include Islam Slimani, who's away with Algeria, and Adrian Silva? Does that include there? Jack saying Graham Barnes wastes some chances. They do, Jack. They really do, sadly. But let's keep going. Michael saying we need a new winger. Simple as. Thanks, Michael, for your comment on watching on Facebook. Dan is watching on YouTube saying Rob Tanner said on Twitter, this is the worst preparation for a campaign ever. 15 senior players missing with internationals, injuries and other. Normally we play like 5 or 6 pre-season friendlies And we normally end it with a bit of a bang. I think we played Atalanta last year, didn't we? Obviously, it's all a bit different this year, but we've played 3 pre-season friendlies. I don't think we've particularly had one of those matches where you probably got the starting 11 on the pitch. Do you agree? I mean, this is in no way the team that's going to start next week. Who out of this lot would be starting next week? Who do you think? Vardy, for sure. Ndidi, but not as a centre-back. Hamza and Mendy probably not going to start, or maybe they will. Barnes may start, may not. Demore Gray, don't think would start. Luke Thomas probably will start next week. Ryan says about Luke Thomas, he says, Luke's being caught out with the long ball. Does he need a loan out, Phil? I think we need him, Ryan, at the moment. I don't think we've got enough players to I know he's only come in and played well at the end of last season, but he is a young lad, and like we've always said with defenders, it's the same with people like when we had Ben Chilwell. They will make mistakes because they're learning the game. It's a craft, it's an art, and this is why, again, I'm not having a go at Leicester, but this is why the bigger clubs, the Chelseas, the Man U's, the Man Cities, even the Liverpools, they go and buy people who are a bit older, 23 to 28, who have proven that they can take it at the highest level. Leicester, we go a slightly different model. We go for players who either quite often young lads, and they have to prove it while they're at Leicester, and that means it's not always going to work out for these lads, which is what we see with people like Diabate and Gazelle. Kev saying, yeah, Jakupovic hasn't trained much due to quarantine. Fine, thanks for that little update, Kev. Richard saying it's worrying. Don't read too much into it, Richard. Trust me, if it was, West Brom is going to be an interesting game because they've come straight up from the Championship. They'll be all guns blazing, but it's going to be an interesting one. The West Brom game a week on Sunday. Reese says he thinks Thomas keeps being caught out. They nearly scored, didn't they? They really should have scored that tap in, maybe. Jack saying Rudkin needs to pull his mate Congerton for a word with transfers. Why the new Mendy contract would have sold him, says Patrick. Well, I think Mendy's all right, to be fair. I think as a squad player, he's decent. He doesn't do anything too wrong when he comes in and plays for us. I think he is one of those where you say to him, look, you're not going to play every week. You're not my first pick, but you are in the squad, and we're going to play Europa League this year, Premier League. We're going to play FA Cup. You are going to get some game time, Mendy. And I think he's all right. So I think, Patrick, I disagree with you on that. You're allowed, obviously, do you, anybody else watching, do you agree with Patrick? Would you have not kept Pape Mendy? Or do you agree with me? I would have kept him. I think he is a decent squad player, and he has proven he can handle the Premier League. So I would have got it. Reese is saying, got a strong feeling Silva, Gazelle, Diabate will feature this season. It would be interesting that none of them have featured at all in this pre-season. And again, you'll have to forgive me, I should know these facts. Is Gazelle and Diabate on international duty this weekend? If they're not, and they're not on loan, which I don't think they are currently loaned out, or are they? It is confusing with some of these players. Reese goes on to say Mendy is backup standard. I think you're sort of agreeing with me there, Gray, where you're just saying, he is good enough to be backup. Are we selling Gray? Somebody's saying on Facebook. I don't think we are. What is exactly our statement of intention? Are we just happy to compete, or do we want Champions League? I'm confused. It's a great question. I hate to say it. I mean, it's amazing to think Leicester are even saying, we're going for Champions League. But I mean, it's amazing to think, what is the debate? What is the aim for this season? I can't see it at the moment at all. I think we're in a worse position than how we were last season. And let's face it, we didn't have a great end to the season, not just post-coronavirus lockdown, but before that. We had a pretty poor set of results from Christmas. If we hadn't such a spanking good first half of the season, we could have been down near the middle or bottom of the table. Brad, I believe I'm right in saying Slimani is with the Algeria international team, which is why, for a start, he wouldn't be on this. I think he is definitely one of the players who are out with the international. Rob, is saying a slim squad that could probably do with Slim. If we're not buying, surely we need to recall certain players. I agree. I think, Rob, you have hit it exactly on the head. It's like, if we're not going to buy any players, well, why don't we bring back and use Silva? Why don't we bring back and use Slimani? Why don't we bring back and have another look at Diabate and Gazelle? They're players we bought and paid a lot of money for, but I think we should play them. Ben saying it's a boring and predictable side to watch these days. It wasn't great after Christmas, Ben, for a lot of the games, so it would be nice to see some a bit more excitement. It's nearly time for the second half. Michael says we do need to sign some players. We'll be lucky to get 10th this season. Now, don't forget, it's going to be Locks hosting the post-show match with Jamie. Come and see them. Give us your full-time views. Let's get back and let's watch, hopefully, an improved second half. As ever, thanks to all our pals who help us bring you Leicester Fan TV.
Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. With special thanks to our pals at ADT Taxis, Feed Me, Piglets Pantry, Tiger, Leicester Garage Conversions, Pink Vehicle Leasing, Hologram, The Fox's Arms, Moyer Wade Interiors, and our chosen charity, Memphis UK. We bring you the fans' views on the match each week, and your views matter to us. Join the fans' debate each match with us. Follow us at Leicester Fan TV.